On today's podcast, we're going to talk about double checking safety, so stay tuned.
Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast.
A lot of the ideas that we come up with for this podcast come out of real life. Now, our daughter is actually going to college all the way across the country. She called me last night and she wanted to add a carry-on to her luggage that she was going to be coming home with. And I told her that it's actually part of the flight cost. Well, upon checking, even though it's been this way on every other flight, it wasn't the case. She was right. You have to pay to have a carry-on. So it was something where I assumed. Now, you know what happens when you assume. We keep things as PG-13 as we can on this podcast, so I'm just going to say it's a bad idea. But when was the time that you assumed in the workplace? All right? It could be maybe not wearing PPE because you're only going to be in an area for just a couple seconds or minutes. It could be driving through a doorway because you think it's going to be the right height and you've eyeballed it and you think it's going to be okay. It might be that you start up a machine because you didn't see a lockout tagout indication and you didn't bother to do a further inspection. Or it could be something as simple as driving through an area because you think you're the only one in that area, even though you're not supposed to be there, and you think it's going to be safe. All of these situations are assumptions, and assumptions will never work when it comes to safety. It's never, ever, ever a good idea to assume. You've got to double and even triple check safety. So what I would tell you is that even though it might seem inconvenient or it might seem trivial to you, make sure that you know that rules are in place for a reason. And no matter what, you always have to follow them. So by not assuming and following the rules all the time, you'll stay safe, and that's exactly where we want you to be. And now, a word from one of our sponsors.
You want an organized workspace. You want a safe and efficient way to lay out your shop or warehouse. But it takes forever to mask and paint the floor lines, only to watch them fade and smear and have to do it all over again. The solution? Mighty Line Tape. Mighty Line floor tape is simply the most durable floor tape available. It's 7 times thicker than most other floor tapes. It's beveled on the edges so it can handle an army of forklifts. And it comes up anytime with no scraping and no residue. Why mess with the mess and the fumes of floor paint when Mighty Line has the rolls, shapes, colors, and signs that fall right in line with 5S standards? There's a place for everything, and everything has its place. That's why we're here. There's only one American-made Mighty Line tape, the only durable stripe.
You can find the show notes to each episode, links to information mentioned on the vodcast, the social media platforms we're on, and anything else related to the vodcast at warehousesafetytips.com. And if you want to catch our podcast and or request a sample pack of Mighty Line, visit mightylinetape.com/safety tips. Thank you for watching Warehouse Safety Tips and have a safe day.